a spark. And scriptwriters will tell you that every great story needs a spark. And for Africa's creative industries, that spark is digital innovation. And this digital innovation is redefining how we create, how we share, and how we experience art. But first, let's look at Africa itself. It said that Africa is the world's youngest continent. And in Kenya, for example, the median age is 19.7 or somewhere there, according to statistics. And this is not just a statistic. It is a promise. It is a promise of creativity, of energy in this population, and a generation built on digital fluency. So what do we mean by digital fluency? Being able to use the digital tools and the opportunities that it's bringing to be creative. Like like people are fluent in English, for example. We have a generation that is digitally fluent. So, and this is a conversation that is subject to many interpretations, but gone are the days when you needed a full studio. And I was speaking to, I think, Prof, during lunch, you were saying, gone are the days when we needed, or someone needed a full studio to make a film, or even record a song. Today, a smartphone, a microphone, or a mini microphone, small like this, and your creative mind is enough to make magic. And many people might not even tell whether you recorded using your smartphone if they're not very keen. So digital tools are democratizing art, how we tell it, how we create it, and how we share it in whatever platform we find ourselves consuming this. Our stage, for example, is no longer in the cinemas. Our stage has gone global. Platforms like Netflix, Showmax, Boomplay, Spotify, YouTube allow our stories as Africans and our sounds to travel beyond the borders of four walls of cinemas, of small spaces in communities, in performances, and all that. And you realize that the world is tuning in to African stories and stories that were never getting out there. And in Kenya, for example, we see this transformation up close. Why? We are starting to see streaming audiences growing very fast. And there's a lot of local content on platforms, streaming platforms like Netflix, like Showmax, and all these others. Kikwetu, what do we call it? There's one of the streaming platforms locally in Kenya. I'll get the name and remind you, and just mention it. But we find that there are many platforms, even Viu-Sasa, to say the least. We are starting to see a lot of content in these platforms. And then we have the other thing, which is mobile fast access, where we are seeing most users, especially young people, consuming films and entertainment on smartphones. So there is that fast, mobile fast access. And because mobile phones and smartphones are the gadgets that we interact them every other minute. So whenever you get some free time, you're there in your mobile phone, scanning through different apps and consuming content as you go. And then we also have digital marketplaces where artists are now able to monetize their content and their music through, for example, TikTok, Mdundo, for example, for music, Spotify also, and YouTube. People are able to monetize whatever art they are creating as they go, and they don't require any a big distributor to come to help them do that. They are doing this by just creating accounts and pushing their content out there, or their art out there. So Kenya is becoming East Africa's creative hub because of these platforms that offer in monetization of art. And in Kenya, phones are not just phones. They are our cinemas. They have become our concert halls, our libraries. They're not just phones for making phone calls. They are much more than that. And according to Communication Authority of Kenya, who said that there are over 76 million mobile subscriptions in the country, we've seen a strong smartphone growth. And we are now starting to live in a mobile-first creative economy. Like I said, phones are everywhere, and content and art is being consumed in mobile phones or using mobile phones. And then we move to another thing. Today's audience is different. Today's audience doesn't just receive art, they participate. We've seen remixes, we've seen sharing, we've seen trends. Things are trending. We've seen challenges on TikTok. So the boundary between the creator and the consumer is now starting to get blurry. Because there's an artist on stage who is performing, but there are other people in the audience who are recording and streaming that live. So audience is not just sitting there to be entertained. They're also creating another version of what is being performed and posting it on different platforms, and people are consuming that. And then when you go back to the film space, Kenyan stories are now global stories. We've seen movies like Bangarang, Disconnect, The Wedding Planner, Family Vacations, some of which are beneficiaries of some of our funding programs at the Kenya Film Commission. And these films are among many more that are bridging local narratives with universal appeal. And they're getting viewership globally. Someone could say it's because of the platforms that have been put in. But this has been enabled by the digital transformation that is happening in the distribution space. So you find that we are telling our stories on our own terms. Remember, the Kenyan film industry is partly founded on an NGO kind of storytelling, where NGOs would bring in the money and then they would dictate how the films are being done. But now, because of the platforms that are allowing Kenyan stories to be placed there and money is being made from that, as Kenyan creatives, we are now starting to write stories, the stories that we control the narrative. For example, movies that funding has come from the Kenya Film Commission, you're not required to push a certain agenda, or movies that are being made from funding that has been crowdsourced. Because we've seen movies also that their producers have done crowdfunding and they have been able to create these movies and they are there. So there's no one who is dictating how the narrative goes. So we are starting to tell our stories on our own terms. So from Nairobi to New York, for example, Kenyan music is making its mark if you move to the music side. And you see the blend of Afrobeats, gengetone, gospel, is charting in places that we never imagined. For example, if you place your music on Spotify, someone is able to consume it from whichever part of the world they're coming from. And now musicians and other artists now have a direct pipeline to global audiences because of the platforms that are available for monetization and for placing content. When we move to theater, dance, spoken word, producers are starting to rethink in this digital era. And I know Fredrick will not like it, but Dr. Fred will not like this, but we are starting to see live streaming of performances, theater performances. We are starting to see hybrid formats that are offering access beyond the theater walls. We are starting to have audiences accessing our art without necessarily traveling to the spaces. We've also started seeing a lot of audio plays using headphones, where you can just walk into a space, grab a headphone, and sit and listen to a play. Some will say, why not just do radio theater then? Why are you recording plays and pushing them into headphones and all that? But it's what it is. It's what digital era is bringing into our art. Like I was saying, creators now have direct paths to monetization. We have YouTube ads, streaming royalties, sponsorships as you put your content out there, and even fund donations. For those of you who've interacted with TikTok, for example, your fans are able to donate and give you money. If you manage to get a lion, I hear you make a lot of money in TikTok. So this digital space has really changed how we consume and how we put our art out there. But of course, there are obstacles, and they will always remain. There will always remain to be obstacles. Things like discoverability. Because yes, you put your content there, but is it being discovered by the people you are targeting? What we call SEO. Is it SEO? Search engine optimization, and all those terminologies. How are we dealing with that as artists? Then there is fair revenue splits. Is it fair with these platforms, seeing that Kenyans and Africans don't own these platforms? Are we getting fair revenue splits? And is this money coming to artists the way it should? And of course, piracy. We've talked about piracy even before the digital era. But now, during the digital era, it's more pronounced. You release a movie today, you put it on a platform, then someone grabs it and puts it in their platform, and because they have a higher subscription rate, they make more money than you do. So is there a law that then protects creators of art? So what is our task then? Our task is to build equitable digital marketplaces, because that is where the world is going. And we can sit and talk about how digital space or digital era has disrupted the way we know art or the way we share our art. But what do we need to do? We cannot fight with the digital revolution. So for us is to fit in, build equitable digital marketplaces for our art, for our creative products. So for our digital shift to last, we need structures that empower creators. And what does this mean? It means that we need strong IP and corporate frameworks that are adaptable for digital and AI. Because yes, we had a corporate act, we have a corporate act, we have IP laws, but do they conclusively address the digital challenges, the challenges that the digital evolution is bringing? We also need funding in terms of grants, incentives for creators of art, tax breaks for creative startups. Because technology, again, it's coming with a lot of needs. It's coming with many needs that require a lot of money to be able to create and to be able to fit within this fast-moving world. So we need the government to be able to support creators of art. And of course, like I was saying, funding, we have funding models like the one the Kenya Film Commission runs called the Film Empowerment Program, or what HIVA Fund does and what they are running now called the Sanara Program. So we need many more funding mechanisms and opportunities for creators to be able to create more. When you look at the world of gaming, augmented reality, virtual production, animation, esports, these are not distant dreams. These are things that are unfolding now. And Africa and Kenya must be in the front line. And then add to that storytelling in local languages. Because there is a tendency to want to imitate the West and abandoning storytelling in African languages. For example, a producer wouldn't, they don't see, it's not fancy to them to create or to do a movie in Kamba, for example. So they will not appear on Learned, or they will not appear to fit, or maybe we are creating movies for another world out there. Even how it comes out might not be as authentic as we would have wanted to feel it. So there is need to encourage creators of art, especially performing arts, to look into storytelling in local languages. So how are we then supposed to do this? No one is going to build this alone. When telcos, financial technology companies, government, academia, and the creatives collaborate, that's when this ecosystem is going to thrive. Because partnerships will unlock access. Partnerships are going to unlock funding. And partnerships are going to ensure that there is scalability in our art, in our industry. And it's also going to ensure that there is sustainability in whatever we are doing. So, we are standing at a threshold. We keep on saying, it's a joke that we make at the commission that we keep on saying it's a it's an emerging industry. The Kenyan film industry is an emerging industry. And that's where even our Kalasha Awards are represented by the face of the tusks and giraffes. We are saying it's an emerging industry. But for how long? When are we going to start asking ourselves, when are we going to start making it a force that will reach the rest of the globe? When are we going to invest? Because I feel we have to invest wisely. We have to protect tirelessly. And of course, partner for this to work. And then as much as we are saying Kenya is a leader in East Africa, what does that bring to our industry? Can that be felt by the artists themselves? How are we using the digital revolution to make money? I keep on saying, this is showbiz. And for it to be showbiz, you have to make money. So what is it that we are doing as creators of art to make it the showbiz it should be? To make our industry the showbiz it should be. So maybe we need to do something. And here is what I think we have to do, or we must do. One is to empower creators. And this is to be done through training. A lot of capacity building, sensitizations, funding, like I keep on saying, and infrastructure. In as much as we don't need a lot, we still need some infrastructure to have this work. Then enhance the available law and policies to ensure that it protects, or they protect and reward people who abide by that. And then we have to forge bold partnerships in both public, private, and global. And above all, we must tell our stories loudly and proudly, because we have had a challenge of wanting to imitate other people. So is it possible for us, especially young people who are getting into the industry, to tell our stories loudly and proudly, using our own languages? So as I conclude, let's shape Africa's creative future together, because that is what we must do for this industry. Thank you.
Let us give the presenter a better clap. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So I am going to invite 5 questions maximum, after which we will move to the next session. Kindly make sure your question is to the point and very clear.
Okay, so my question is to the point and very clear. Okay, in 20, my name is Fredrick Mbogo, for your sake. In 2018, the Kenya Film Commission organized a competition. You people should have entered, where you gave a script to yourselves, and the winners got 1,500,000, those kinds of monies. So this is a pointed question. If I used AI, that was 2018, so we didn't know those things. If I used AI and I pushed a script towards you, how would your behavior be? Would you throw me out with the baby the bath water. Okay? And then the next question I want to ask is, this is like personal, because you're talking in general terms. I'm worried about the digital world, because it seems like when we make products, sometimes we make them for clicks, isn't it? Because we earn our money by how much people we attract. And film's going to be the same, because sort of crowds. What's that going?
Come in front so that you are seen.
My name is Nyakundi. I'm a master's student, theater and film. What I wanted to ask is, you have said about funding. Now, who is funding us? You just said we need funding, but you haven't specified. And if funding is coming from outside, won't our scripts be dictated by them, those who are funding us? And what is the commission doing in terms of funding? Are there funds for creatives? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for that question, Nyakundi. Ruben, you have a question? Any other question? Any other question? Kindly. Let's have the gentleman behind, and then Dr. Moshere will close that session of questions.
I'm a first year, and my question goes by this. You know, in the industry of film and artistry, you've emphasized on digital fluency. And again, there is need to partner. And then my question strictly goes to back then we used to have this laughing industry, comedy and some sort. And as they were coming up, they were catchy. But as we elevated to the idea of digitizing, these things have been neglected. You see, like Churchill show, they are no longer being held because that content that you could have used, maybe it has been exploited in other field, or it has been already exposed through the media. How do we cope that? Thank you.
Thank
over, or rather is becoming the greater teacher. How ought we to teach? How ought we to teach? I got the King James Version. How should we teach? Yes.
Thank you. We will allow Mr. John Kyalo to tackle those few questions. At the same time, the online team, I don't know whether there is anything from online. As you put that together.
Okay, I'll start with the 2018 script writing competition. The interesting thing about how we do things at the Kenya Film Commission is it's never a sole responsibility of the commission to decide what to do with creatives' work. What we do is we set up a team, and the team evaluates using all a criteria, of course, which they come up with, and that criteria, if it's done now in 2025, will be alive to the entry of AI into script writing. And therefore, because it's not a sole responsibility of the Kenyan Film Commission to decide whether to throw the baby in the water, we hand over that to fellow creatives within that space to decide whether that is AI or not, so that it's not a government decision on this is a bad script. It's so that the script or whatever art is judged by peers within that space. Creativity, how it's affected by clicks. I mean, people decide what their niche becomes. And if they feel that that truth will give them money, remember I said this is showbiz. Showbiz is money. It's wanting to make money from your show, from your art. And you also, so whatever you do is informed by the audience you're trying to target. So if your audience is asking for that, then you find a way to be creative in whatever you're creating, but again satisfy them. Because in distribution and marketing, especially for arts, we say, you think of the audience before you start creating. So you start asking yourself, what is my audience looking for? So if the audience is looking for a certain type of art, that is what you deliver to them, because you are in business. Creative entrepreneurship. That is what we are trying to push, creative entrepreneurship, where you started to think of the business even as you're thinking of the creativity and of your art. Funding influence on whatever you create, yes. Sad enough, we've started to see films that are addressing the gay subject in the country, whether it's politely or on our faces, because of where the funds are coming in. And like I was saying, our industry was built on an NGO kind of funding. And whenever someone gives you money, there's always an agenda behind that. But we also see organizations that are giving funding without strings. Maybe there are strings, but there's okay, I'm back. So we are starting to see organizations that are funding creativity without necessarily pushing an agenda. Or they have an agenda, but the agenda doesn't affect the creative aspect of your script. For example, a funder would come and say, we want you to push more women-led stories, things like that. So again, you can be creative, but still remain within that agenda. Because anyone who brings money, then they have something to say. And that is why sometimes films like that are funded through crowdfunding will leave you liberal to, because you see, when it's everyone who has contributed to your production, no one has the authority to tell you have to tell this story. So crowdfunding is, again, helping us in that space. Government, for example, if it gives money, they will still push a theme. They will still push you to a certain direction and say, we want you to do more children's stories. But they will not tell you how to do it. They just tell you, we want you to do more children's-related stories. So we have funders, yes, that are giving money with strings attached, but not strings that curtail your creativity. And of course, that is what happens when you get free money. Are there available funds? Yes, there are available funds. I was just spoken about Sanara program by Hiva Fund that is running, that is targeting filmmakers. They have an option for grants, they have an option for loans. The Kenya Film Commission, again, with partners, does funding through the Film Empowerment Program. DocuBox does funding for projects. So we have many other funding mechanisms and opportunities within the country that are there. And if you follow the Kenya Film Commission through our social media handles, you'll be able to see every new opportunity that comes up for funding in the country. We always know what's going on where, and we post there for our customers and our creatives to take part in. Some are being funded by some embassies. Some are being funded by government agencies like the GIZ, the German government, through different other institutions. Impact of digitization or the digital revolution on live performances. This is what I was speaking about. I mean, our mobile phones, like I was saying, mobile phones are no longer mobile phones for us. They have become our cinema halls. They have become our concert spaces. And therefore, it's for us to start thinking, how do we put our art where our consumers are? We start thinking, how do we put the art there? It might affect the delivery. It might affect how we feel it as artists. But if that is what the audience is asking for, then we have to find a way to fit within what they're asking for. Otherwise, that bus is going to leave us. So we have to find a way to work. The way we are finding a way to work with AI, we have to find a way to work with the digital revolution as we create our art. So yes, it's affecting consumption, it's affecting our audiences. The digital revolution is affecting how audiences are consuming content, consuming art. It has really affected. And instead of sitting down to start complaining, because they are not coming back, they are gone. So instead of sitting down to complain how this has affected our work, can we find a way to fit in? Can we find a way to take the art to where they are? So it's for us to be innovative, to start thinking innovatively on how do we reach our new audience. How we are going to teach this? I honestly don't know. We have to find a way together. Because AI has gotten everyone off guard. I mean, it's here. Of course, there is the aspect of ethics as you try to consume some things. For example, what are the ethical considerations of AI in academia? I don't know. I mean, I'm not an academia, but I mean, there has to be a way as we try to infuse AI into academia and into teaching, then there has to be limits. How do we then, I'm answering these as questions because I don't even know myself, but how do we use AI without making people too lazy? Remember when calculators were coming in? Older people then would say, but these guys don't think. Why are they using calculators when we used to use our brains to calculate? But they're here. Everyone, we have even stopped using them. Computer, the same. So can we look at AI as a facilitator to what we are doing? Just the way we looked at calculators when they came and the computer when it came. Because, like I'm saying, it is here and it is what it is. And it's going to continue being advancing. And if we sit down and start competing with it, then it's going to sweep us off our feet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It has come a time for us to move to our other breakaway rooms. And we have 3 breakaway rooms, and our moderators for those particular rooms are as follows. So kindly liaise with me so that you will know the backlog of papers that you have. And I am urging you to kindly ensure that they are all presented latest by tomorrow morning session before we meet back for plenary. Hall 1, we have moderators Amon Kirui, Patience Sarah, and Kevin Kiprono. Then Hall 2, we will have moderators Gibson Kipruto, and Fred Kebe. And then Hall 3, we have Dr. Ernest Monte and Kevin Mutua, Hall 3. I am tempted to read the backlogs for those particular halls as we wait for our music students to present a number, because we are going to break away immediately after their presentation. So music students, as I read the papers that are still pending in the various halls, kindly, if you are a moderator, note these papers because they were supposed to be from the morning session. Call the other presenters, contact them, and work a formula on how they are going to be presented. In Hall 1, we have a paper. We have 3 pending papers from the morning session. Hall 2, we have 1, and Hall 3, we have 3 pending papers. So kindly, the moderators, you liaise with me so that you know how to move forward. Music students, are we near or can we proceed to our breakaways? Madam Jackie, with your guidance. My boss, as far as the conference is concerned, that we will proceed to the breakaways, and then we will have double performance from the music students tomorrow in the morning. We understand them because they were delayed a little bit because of a few hitches here and there. So kindly, the moderators, you are going to guide us towards your breakaway halls. You are invited to any particular hall of your interest. Maybe I can just highlight a few papers that are going on in the various halls so that you see where you think you fit best. In Hall 1, we have a paper from the communal music, Making to Deep Learning, AI, Copyright, and the Soul of African Music. We have Human Resource Management in Music Education, a Kenyan Higher Education Perspective. We also have Algorithmic Confrontation, AI Tech, and the Future of Indigenous Knowledge. So that is just the highlight of what will be going on in Hall 1. Hall 2, a highlight, we have Sonic Pathways to Maternal Well-Being, investigating the role of music in physical antenatal activities in Ibadan metropolis. We have Philosophy and Aesthetics, Human versus AI Authorship in Artistic Creation. And then highlights of Hall 3, we have the role of artificial intelligence in archiving and revitalization traditional East African sounds in contemporary music. We also have access to digital notation software and its influence on creativity of music students in Kabarak University. We have investigating resource availability and challenges for music production, recording artists, and sound engineering in Kabarak University community. So those are just the highlights, and then they will include the papers that are now for the afternoon session. Kindly, the moderators, kazi kwenyu. Thank you. For those ones who don't know where the breakaway rooms are, on my right, and then upstairs, and then the farthest end, you will get the hall 2 and hall 3, but this remains hall 1. So let's make the transition.
I'd like to request the people at the back, please. Sijui kama mtasonga kidogo kwa sababu sasa baba akipresent. When I was undergoing teacher training college, I'm told.
Autism spectrum disorder is a complex neurodevelopmental condition. According to the CDC, about 1 in 31 children in the United States are diagnosed with autism. That shows its prevalence. In Kenya, it's around 1 to 4 children. The core challenges for autistic learners include difficulties in communication, social interaction, and sensory processing. The traditional education systems often struggle to meet the needs of these autistic learners. And this growing gap highlights the urgent need for inclusive, innovative interventions that can adapt to the diverse profiles of these autistic learners. Why music education? Music education provides a unique pathway for autistic learners. It activates the cognitive, emotional, and motor systems simultaneously. Research shows that structured musical activities can improve joint attention, communication, and emotional regulation. Music also creates a predictable, sensory-friendly, non-verbal learning environment. And therefore, these qualities make music, especially music education, valuable for learners with autism spectrum disorder, especially those who are minimally verbal or have challenges with spoken communication. And where does AI come in? Artificial intelligence, it brings adaptive and personalized learning into education. AI tools include emotion recognition systems, social robots, and gamified apps that provide real-time feedback and track learner progress. For autistic learners, this means that lessons can be tailored to their unique needs, promoting engagement and reducing anxiety. When combined with music education, AI creates a dynamic, individualized learning experience. Let us go to the theoretical framework. In this paper, I have used 3 theories, but there's one main theory. The main theory in this paper is the social interaction theory, which emphasizes learning through shared engagement. And music education, rather, provides a natural medium for this. The second theory is universal design for learning, which encourages multiple pathways for engagement, representation, and expression, something that both music education and AI can deliver. And then the third theoretical framework is the technology acceptance model, which helps us understand how teachers, parents, and learners can adopt these tools, considering its usefulness and its ease. Okay, here is the evidence of where music education and AI can come in. I apologize. Music therapy and music education serve distinct but complementary roles. Music therapy focuses on clinical outcomes, while music education emphasizes skill and creativity. Evidence shows music improves verbal and nonverbal communication, enhances memory and executive function, and reduces anxiety. For example, large-scale trials demonstrate that music interventions foster social reciprocity, joint attention, and this makes music a powerful tool for holistic development in autistic learners. This is whereby mixing music education and music therapy to create an intervention for the learners with autism spectrum disorder. AI in music education. Several platforms illustrate the promise of AI in music education. We have platforms like Smart Music, that provides real-time feedback on performance, Melodia, which develops auditory skills, and SyncFit, which uses music and speech cues to engage learners. These tools promote adaptive scaffolding and multimodal access. However, only a small percentage of AI platforms are designed specifically for autistic learners, raising concerns about inclusivity. And this gap highlights the importance of tailoring technology to neurodiverse needs. Yeah. The empirical trends and case studies. Case studies show encouraging results. For example, robotic platforms like the Now robot improved coordination and social reciprocity in AI-powered apps improved rhythmic precision and sustained attention in autistic learners. Motion to music systems allowed nonverbal learners to express themselves through movements. Yet, these studies often involve very small samples and short time frames, which limits their generalizability. More rigorous long-term studies are needed. On to the benefits and challenges of combining AI and music education. Combining AI and music education has several benefits, including personalization, multimodal access, increased engagement, and teacher support. However, there are challenges, and including the digital divide, which limits access in low-resource settings. The second one is teacher training gaps. Many teachers lack training in AI, integration, and algorithmic bias can misinterpret neurodivergent responses, and ethical issues around data privacy and consent remain unresolved. This was mentioned earlier by Professor Mapaya. Addressing these challenges is critical for equitable adoption of AI in music education. Looking ahead, future research and practice must focus on 4 main priorities. The first one is co-designing these AI sites and apps with autistic learners and families to ensure that the tools reflect real needs for the learners with autism spectrum disorder. The second one, there's a need for longitudinal and cross-cultural studies that are essential to measure long-term impact of AI for learners with autism spectrum disorder. The third one, ethical frameworks must guide the use of AI, ensuring fairness and privacy. Finally, policies must support teacher training and infrastructure so these innovations can effectively be implemented. In conclusion, music and AI together provide transformative potential for autistic learners. Music fosters expression, regulation, and connection, while AI offers personalization and adaptability. Evidence already shows the promise, but inclusive design, ethics, and collaboration are vital for success. With intentional innovation, we can create adaptive, empowering education for neurodiverse learners. Thank you. That was my presentation. Here is my reference list.
AI in composition. There is a deterministic era, that is a era. And then we have a second, in second we have stochastic architecture. That is Laney's Senakis, formalized probability and controlled randomness. Using Fortran and UPIC, composers manage complexity through statistical average rather than node-by-node control. There's deep learning revolution, which is the modern AI using RNNs and GNs, learner's aesthetic principle implicitly for massive data sets, generating complex, high fidelity compositions efficiency. So the key insights, AI composition represents the logical continuation of stochastic composition, utilizing highly advanced probabilistic models to handle the complexity and diverse of vast musical data. So AI is a partner beyond the tool, not just as a tool, but as a partner in your compositions. It is a catalyst for imagination. AI provides significantly broader palettes for experimentation. The consensus among composers, AI does not replace creativity, it expands the possibilities. So in this case, where you have an idea and you want to actualize that idea into musical creation, where you will definitely need to share with other musicians. Think of you have a sound in your head as an idea, and you want it to probably maybe document, say, a music in the music that was there, say maybe 50 years ago, the cultural music and all that, and you have no idea where to begin or how to go about it. AI is not AI is vast, that it has all the ideas and all the information about the African and the cultures, different cultures. Yeah. So if you feed the ideas to this AI, it will come up with an augmented version of what your thoughts are. So being a catalyst of imaginations. Iterative collaboration. The creative process transforms from solitary inventions to an iterative cycle of prompting, machine-generated expansion, human curation, and refinement. You again, this AI cannot work on its own. You need to prompt it. You need to give it what to work on. You need to give it a roadmap for it to give you exactly what you want. There is also evolving composer role. Mastery shift from technical execution of conceptual direction, aesthetic judgment, and critical listening. The composer becomes curator and algorithmic architect. Practical AI integration, core compositional elements, melody and harmony, sound designs, rhythm, beats, all that can be, AI can help you to come up with all these. Unlike in the traditional era, where for you to have the harmonies, you need to read. You need to read the harmonic structures and all the harmonic rules for you to understand what you're going to do. How are you going to approach the harmonies and all that? But in the current world, the AI has all that information. The AI, if we can relate that maybe a few years or many years ago, you are told you cannot break the rules that you do not know. So for you to break a rule in harmonic creations, you need to understand that rule first. But in the current world with AI, you don't need to really understand or grasp the concept behind the harmonies for you to break that law. The AI has everything. It will help you do that in a very quick time. There's rhythm also, rhythm and beat. Rhythm, it captures all the rhythms that you want. So if you wanted to do the African rhythms and time signatures, irregular time signatures, it's you to give this information to AI, and it will give you the feedback as you wanted. There's also sound designs. Sound designs, especially think of it in music production. We have a lot of, you need to feel the field, so the designs. How do you want your music sound? Or in what environment do you want your music to be, in as much as you're not in that environment? AI platform and compositional functions. So I have a number of platforms, and their primary functions, compositional focus, and the user benefits. So the first one, you have MuseNet, an open AI. It's a generative composition. Compositional focus, it gives you melodies, harmonies, genre blending. User benefit, overcoming creative block and broad. So there is AMPA music, customizable soundtracks, rhythm, arrangement, production speed, and then a user benefit, experimentation, streamlining production, and rapid ideation. There's Mureka, custom music and sonic designs, melody, harmony, sonic aesthetics, user benefits, content creation, commercial, and efficiency. Google Magenta Studio, open source tools, beat generating, novel, sound design, academic exploration, custom development. So this platform demonstrates AI immediate practical impact through commercial efficiency and scalability, reinforcing the shift from manual labor to supervision curation, supervisory curation. So towards the end, I will try and show you how MuseNet OpenAI works. I think that is the recent AI tool that I have interacted with, and it's a nice AI that it teaches you from the very basic things that you need to have as a musician, or even as an interested person in the field of music, to becoming a more advanced musician in terms of composing and writing music, both harmonies and also melodies. To my next, there's pioneers of human-machine collaboration. There's Holly Haddon, ethical AI protocol, and there's Meg Summers, democratization, and the virtuosos, interactive performance. So with Holly Haddon, track Godmother features AI voice. If you check on YouTube, you'll find this. Spawn as a credited collaborator. Now the Spawn is not a person, but now the AI version. But this guy credited this Spawn as a collaborator. Now AI as a collaborator, not just a tool. So project The Call implements data trust framework, distributing power and compensation between data contributors and AI model users. Meg Summers, democratization. Engineer with no formal musical training successfully utilized AI tool to realize her lifelong dream of making music. Like we in the morning hours, we had Professor Mapaya saying that he has music online, which he he has created using AI. And these are the things that we need to interact with so that we are not left behind, but you also get used to the current tricks and trends on how to maneuver all these technological advancements. There's virtual virtuosos, interactive performance, real-time audience data influencing music structure during live performances, blurring boundaries between performer and the listeners through dynamic AI systems. I think we've all interacted with virtual augmented realities, be it in one way or another. There is currently, or at the moment, you can be in an orchestra in your room, playing in an orchestra in your room, unlike in the previous era where you had to attend a concert for you to have the feeling of an orchestra or a concert performance. Critical nexus, identity, ownership, and the law. The challenge to authorship. So AI generates infinite variations using statistical models, blurring lines between inspiration, imitation, and plagiarism. This raises the question of latent reamplification versus the truly novel creation. So the challenge of who is the author of a given work. There's a legal ambiguity. The current intellectual property law requires a human creator. When AI generates complete songs, authorship identity becomes unclear. It is a prompter or one. Is it the prompter or the algorithm developer? So we have the debate ongoing. And there is a training data dilemma. Application of fair use doctrine to AI training data remains profoundly unclear. The critical issues, ensuring fair compensation for original human artists whose copyrights work fuels AI learning. And then meta-compositional defense. Composers must document visible human contribution, defining AI aesthetic constraints, rigorous curating output, and providing verifiable evidence of human selection and editing processes. Toward the end, the future of that is performance pedagogy and research. Innovative performance. Virtual virtuosos enable interactive concerts where audience influence material in real time through movements, emotional states, or biometric data. The composer becomes an algorithmic architect of dynamic performance experience. And there's a reframing music education. AI integrates across 9 fundamentals fields. VR, virtual reality and augmented reality, personalized learning, intelligent tutoring, composition assistant, historical learning, assessment, ear training, all that. So in conclusion, the permanent revolutionary partner, AI intelligence has cemented its place as a permanent revolutionary partner in music composition. The transition from early deterministic algorithms to modern deep learning systems validates AI as a logical continuation of the algorithmic avant-garde. So practical evolution, composers must evolve from singular creators to curators and algorithmic architects, mastering prompt engineering and ethical selection of machines-generated materials. Philosophical challenge, the industry must address the functional crisis, the foundational crisis in authorship and originality. And then the sessional domain, AI democratizes technical entry while demanding higher conceptual rigor, human intentionality, critical judgment, engaged emotion, and aesthetic purpose remain the executive and essential focus of music education. AI does not replace the composer. it defines a new era where music creation centers on human intentionality and critical judgment, and also the management of probabilistic systems. So it doesn't replace me as a music composer, or as a music educator, or as a music performer, but it helps me achieve actually attain my limits, and also do more than I could probably think. Yeah, I said I'll just share something on MuseNet. Just a minute. Just come after and share with you what AI can do in terms of composing and also harmonizing your content. Yes, thank you so much for being my audience. Have a good evening.
Afternoon, everyone. Najua tuko kidogo lakini tuchangamke. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Jessica Bochi, as you've heard. I am a DJ and a student here in my third year. And I'll be presenting, and I'm delighted to present our study titled Technological Advancement and its Influence on Culturally Relevant DJ Performance in Kenya. I say our because this research was conducted under School of Music and Media in collaboration with my co-author, Mr. Shofola, who is not here. And our goal today is to explore technology from digital turntables to artificial intelligence and how it's redefined how DJs perform in Kenya. So before I carry on, I have an excerpt that will guide what we're going to talk about. So Mixila, ready when you are.
Public service.
Ikibamba sana basi pull it up. Select a cheza doba once from the top. Isha speak up, we mash it up. Father, we like it up.
How many have heard something like that or similar on TikTok or YouTube? Wangapi? Good stuff, good stuff. Let me play the second excerpt and then I'll carry on to my introduction.
Venye na waviu, angle ni side mirror. Kakilori nimejibebe majicha. Tuko sanifing bado sipo makinika. Sikoe mras kumagonga di rehab. Country nipige hype ni trace mamita. Jam down na nichipini takatisa. Namba ni jamo bado say badilisha. Labda mtando ni hangore na class 2 tuliwa hii. Saina wazoza na S-class. Sima katesla magod singo shepherd. Shopfast day safari na jipeleka. S-class, S-class, S-class. Convoy ndainaongoza ni defender. Ndainaongoza ni defender. Ndainaongoza ni defender. Ndainaongoza ni defender.
Commit a crime and I'll be your
defender.
Overpower me so that I surrender. I wish I could be your saliva, so that I could taste your lips whenever. I envy your hipster, vile inakushika kwa mapa. Kwa kweli manzi umebariki.
Asante. That's just a short clip that captures what we'll be discussing today and how the Kenyan DJ has become both a cultural curator and a digital innovator. So I hope you've enjoyed those two mashups. So just a brief introduction. So the DJ has emerged as a central creative figure in Kenya's music and entertainment landscape. DJs today do more than play records. They reinterpret, remix, and reconstruct sound to engage audiences and reflect cultural identity. Technological advancement has shifted DJing from traditional turntables to digital controllers, mixing software and streaming platforms, greatly expanding artistic expression. The rise of AI tools now assists DJs in playlist curation, audience analysis, and trend tracking, enhancing creativity, but also raising questions about the authenticity of human artistry. A key expression of this evaluation is a mashup, a creative blend of two or more existing songs, combining the vocals of one track with instrumentals or beats of another to form a new cohesive sound, as you've heard in the excerpts in the beginning. On platforms like TikTok, these mashups often go viral, promoting local artists and connecting Kenyan music with global audiences. In this dynamic space, the DJ functions as both a technological innovator and a cultural bridge, redefining how music is produced, performed, and shared in Kenya. So just to touch on the rise of digital DJing has evolved from traditional turntables to digital tools such as controllers, software, and streaming platforms. These technologies have expanded creativity, allowing DJs to remix, sample, and manipulate sounds with precision and flexibility. AI, artificial intelligence innovations now assist in playlist curation, audience analysis, and music trend prediction through the rising concerns about losing the human touch and emotional connection. So the emergence of mashup culture, blending vocals and instrumentals from different songs, has become a defining feature of Kenyan DJ performance, especially on TikTok, where such mixes often go viral. Through digital platforms, DJs are not only entertainers, but they act as cultural influencers, promoting local music and shaping Kenya's presence in the global digital music space. So what is the cultural significance, you may ask? DJs have become key cultural mediators in Kenya's music landscape, bridging tradition and modernity through sound. Their performances go beyond entertainment. They interpret and communicate cultural meanings reflecting Kenya's diverse identities. By integrating Swahili lyrics, indigenous percussion, and traditional rhythms into by integrating Swahili lyrics, indigenous percussion, and traditional rhythms into modern genres like Afro House and Amapiano, DJs preserve authenticity while appealing to contemporary audiences on digital platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and all other streaming sites. These creative interactions promote cultural pride and economic opportunities for Kenyan musicians, making DJs powerful agents of both cultural preservation and innovation. Of course, this comes with challenges. While technology has changed DJing, it hasn't come with it's come with its technical hiccups and headaches. AI automation and features like the Spotify's AI DJ raise concerns that algorithms might one day steal the show, replacing the human DJ. If you're a Spotify user, there's a new feature on Spotify where you can now mix different genres and genre-based tracks. DJs face frequent software crashes, equipment malfunctions, and the constant pressure to keep up with endless updates because nothing says the party's over like a laptop freezing mid-set. Over-reliance on digital systems can limit creativity, making DJs more like button pushers than artists. The real challenge is maintaining the human spark, cultural intuition, and emotional intelligence that no software can replicate. So the statement of the problem, despite the DJs' growing prominence in Kenya's entertainment industry, their cultural and artistic roles remain underexplored in the academic discourse. There's limited documentation or scholarly research on how DJs contribute to Kenya's musical identity, creativity, and cultural sustainability. As DJing becomes increasingly digital, many young enthusiasts seek to study it formally, yet the absence of structured academic frameworks leaves a critical gap in music education. And this lack of academic attention means that the creative, cultural, and educational potential of DJing is undervalued despite its influence on youth culture and the economy. The study therefore seeks to address this gap by examining how technological advancement shapes culturally relevant DJ performance and how DJs balance innovation with cultural authenticity. In short, while technology has given Kenyan DJs new tools, the conversation around their cultural impact hasn't quite caught up with the beat. The study followed a constructivist research paradigm focusing on understanding DJing performance through real-life experiences. A qualitative approach captured in-depth insights into how technology shapes culturally relevant DJing in Kenya. Pervasive sampling identified 5 professional DJs active and influential in Kenya's entertainment scene over the past 5 years. And data was collected, in-depth interviews capturing DJs' views on creativity, technology, and culture. Also, participant observation, attending live events in Nakuru County to experience audience interaction performance dynamics. The study, in essence, listened to stories, sounds, and the spirit of Kenyan DJ culture. The study is anchored in the cultural performance theory developed by Milton Singer and later expanded by Victor Tuna. And the theory suggests that culture is expressed through performance, where individuals use artistic actions to communicate identity, values, and shared meaning within a community. In this context, DJ's performance is more than just mixing and playing music. It is a cultural act of blending technology, emotion, and tradition to express social identity. Kenyan DJs embody this by merging indigenous sounds, Swahili expression, and African rhythms with modern genres like Afro House. Digital platforms such as TikTok, YouTube now serve as the new cultural stages where DJs perform, connect with audiences, and shape these digital identities. Ultimately, the DJ stands as a modern cultural performer, interpreting heritage technology while inspiring new forms of Kenyan musical expression. And my findings were that technological advancement has transformed the landscape of DJs in Kenya, elevating DJs from simple entertainers to cultural curators. DJs now use their sets to shape cultural experiences, reading audience reactions, and tailoring mixes that reflect Kenya's evolving sound identity. However, challenges such as technical breakdowns, rapid software evolution, and the risk of over-independence on automation is a heavy thing for us DJs. While AI tools, automated playlists, and beat matching simplify workflow, they lack the emotional intelligence and crowd awareness that define a live DJ's craft. The findings affirm that successful DJing in Kenya depends on cultural sensitivity, adaptability, and human connection in an era dominated by technology. As I conclude, the study concludes that technological advancement has profoundly reshaped performance in Kenya, redefining the DJ as a cultural performer innovator, and the bridge between tradition and modernity. Digital tools and AI have expanded creative possibilities, allowing DJs to craft unique sonic identities while connecting Kenyan music to global audiences. The future of DJing lies not merely in mastering technology, but in preserving the human element, the intuition, improvisation, and emotional intelligence that no algorithm can replicate. Institutions of higher learning should integrate music technology, performance theory, and cultural studies into their curricula to nurture DJs who are both technically skilled and culturally grounded. DJs must continue to create with blending digital precision with culturally authenticity to tell stories that resonate with Kenya's diverse audiences. As technology evolves, one truth remains: machines may play music, but only humans can move the crowd. So this is a call to action to stakeholders and guys in academia that the evolution of DJing in Kenya presents a rich field for academic inquiry and creative collaboration. As technology continues to reshape musical expression, there's a growing need for scholarly engagement that documents, critiques, and supports this transformation. Academics and researchers are encouraged to explore DJing as a legitimate site of cultural production where technology, performance, and identity intersect. Creative practitioners, forgive my Kikuyu, and industry stakeholders are invited to collaborate with scholars to build platforms that recognize DJs as cultural educators and innovators. By bridging practice and scholarship, we can ensure that the art of DJing evolves not only as entertainment, but as a critical component of Kenya's cultural and educational heritage. That has been my time. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. My name is Jessica Bochi. Asante.
Questions? Let me have those people who are having questions. I know Ashene there is having question. Mwalimu Temba is having. Yeah, there's so many reactions. I thought you would move closer. Kabochi, you would move closer so that you can pick the questions. It would be easy to answer. Barbara, where is Vincent? Yeah, let's just be close. Okay, let me start with
operationality of it. Are there areas that this has been done, has been piloted, and what was the result? Then I would assume for autism there are different learners, so will different tools be developed? Then how will they operate? Is it centered to the people with the autistic challenges, or who will do the more work? Is it the person teaching who is going to learn? And just the interaction, maybe it's something you can tell us about that. Vincent, I hope you understood that. To that. Then for Jesse, you talked about DJs, but what is your scope? Is it a thing that is only happening in Kenya? What is happening in UK? Or did you put everything together? So it's good for us to know, is it a thing you've just observed in UK? Or I mean in Kenya, maybe somewhere else they're already solving your problems. And then education. I think when you train people for DJing, it's already an education. So what new thing are you doing in education? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mwalimu Temba.
And DJ. So to Barbara, not a question as such, but it's something you can think about. Because at the end of the day, yours is it's in depth, it's deep, and I would really like to know what is the motivation, what is the inspiration behind you taking that research, because that will help us understand that it's actually coming from you. To the DJ, you've talked about DJs being curators of cultural and shaping the culture, isn't it? So I would like to know, in your own opinion, are they shaping the culture from a deliberate point of view, or is it just an occupational coincidence? That I am a DJ and this is the trend, but ideally I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting things together. Yeah.
I think what that is going on. I think that is what Mwalimu is trying to put across.
Hello, my name is Nigel Yano, first year student doing music theory and composition. My question is to Vincent. You said that AI is not here to replace us, it's to assist us. But these tools are common. Any person with a smart device can access these tools. So doesn't that make us obsolete as people who are doing music? Because a person with no musical knowledge at all can just use those tools and make the same music that we could do with this exact same tools. And a different question is in monetization. If the music has been made by a tool or assisted by a tool, then how will the copyright work? How will it be classified as your work? Yet it was assisted with AI, and also the sourcing of the data that was used for training the AI. The data that was used was from other people's music, which doesn't have official copyright laws currently. So how will that be tackled? Let's say if I want to make music, how will I know that this is under AI and this is under a human being, because they're just all together? That's all.
About two questions, and I want to... a microtone, it might force it into a semitone. So how are we going to deal with that particular issue, so that as we compose, we make sure that we don't flatten our culture? And the other question is possibly just to talk about the homogenization of music. Don't you think as we adopt the culture, that eventually we will no longer have the division of the beauty of our cultures in Kenya? We have 42 tribes, and that means the music from the Luya is totally different from the Kikuyu. But as we adopt this technology, what it means is there is a bit of trying to rely on the Western trained softwares that cannot read Luya music and differentiate it from the Kikuyu music. That brings about the aspect of homogenization. So maybe that's an aspect you possibly need to look at in your research and see how to incorporate that. For the DJ, maybe, I don't know, whether the scratching, do we still value a DJ as a guy who do the scratches, you know what I mean? Because that's what makes the older way of approaching DJ with the current digital tools. The current person doing the digital mixing does not even mean anything. He just need a laptop, curate it with AI, and music continues. But does a listener really care? I think that's what my question is. Does the listener really care to know whether you're skilled playing the scratch and, that skill that you have, but does the listener really care, or the listener just want to enjoy music? Thank you. So Barbara, you could start, then Vincent, then, sorry.
Question about what was my motivation and inspiration. I used to teach very, 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 very unique thing happened to me, and it's something I noticed, and other teachers who teach learners with autism also noticed the same. We have a child who does not speak. The child is nonverbal. However, the child is able to sing during music class. Yeah? So after I noted that is where now I started I wanted to really understand what was going on and how exactly does that happen. Yeah, so even my thesis, the one that I'm working on right now, is under the same topic. I'm sure you're in the panel, right? Yeah, it's under the same topic. Okay. On to the other questions. The first one was operationality. And are there any evidences? Yes, there are evidences that have been done. For example, I'd take you to, there's an author known as Feng, Alfred Feng, who did a coordination test, did an experimentation whereby they took a group of 15 learners with autism and they allowed robots to teach them. Robots combined with AI to teach learners with autism for a period of 3 months. And at the end of 3 months, they noticed improved coordination, improved reciprocity, improved social communication. So there are evidences that this can work. The second one, it being AI learners, is it tailored? Okay. Since autism spectrum disorder is a spectrum, it means that no child or no, yeah, in my case it's child, no learner with autism has the same characteristics or the same challenges. But that is now the beauty of AI. AI is able to adapt. The adaptability of AI is what is making it a fundamental tool for intervention for learners with autism. The next one is who will do more work. I think it is a combination, or rather several people will be doing work together. We have the teachers, they have to learn about AI. They have to learn about how to prompt and how to give assessments using AI. Yeah? The second one is the parents. I think parents play a very, very huge role because intervention for autism cannot just happen in school or rather in one area. It has to be throughout. So even the parents have to be involved. And yeah, then the learners now, they're the ones engaging with the app. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. Vincent?
Aspect of AI and the timeline to adjust as AI users. When music, we used to write, or they used to write music on paper, or you scribble the notes and everything. And then it came the use of technology. We have the MuseScores, Sibelius, and all that. I think it took time because we are interested. Not to learn the new ways of making our work easier, and just you finish your work in time so that you can have enough time to really look into it and maybe do a few corrections here and there. So I think it's something that we can learn how to maneuver and how to effectively use these AI tools. Yes, the timeline is I can say it's your interest as a musician or as an AI user. If you take your time to really try and understand how to use it, you'll take very little time. And like when you just sit and people will now, tell you the stories, and you'll be trying to maybe learn it. Copyright, I shared a case study of Holly Haddon, where she created So yes, if you work on something with AI, you use AI as a collaborator and not really generating everything generating everything for you. You share your thoughts, you share your ideas. It augments your ideas and put them into actualize them. And like now, you cannot sit and tell AI to give you a song on its own. You understand? So you have to prompt it, you have to tell it what you want exactly, so that it's not fully AI generated, but a collaboration. So on to that question, I think it's something, again, on debate. So yeah. And then on the question of AI being not really rich on the cultural aspect, or on the African style of music, being that we have so many ethnic groups and all that. I think we've come across advertisements on training of AI. AI is something that learns, and it learns from human. So if we have a lot of feeds from the other world of white people, then it'll have a larger percentage of that content and the style in which those people fed the AI with. So it's up to us. I think we need to step up and also feed those ideas and our originality. You feed that into AI, so that so that we can in the future we get exactly what we want in relation to our ethnic groups and all that in music composition. Thank you.
I can even tell that to sing it in the voice of Paul. I can train that Suno to sing it in the voice of Paul. And that guy is going to sing it in the voice of Paul. So I think the discussion is how can we as Africans run with the AI? Because Suno is built in another country. So when you come to Africa and you want to put music, it can only understand a bit of bongo. That's why you can tell that's a bit of bongo, but it's not bongo. It can tell a bit of Afrofusion. It can tell a bit of Amapiano. But it can never write for you Benga. It can never write for you the Seben. But now you as students of music and what you need to think about is how do we train AI as Africans so that it can read Benga. That now becomes the next big thing. But the more we keep saying AI, iko hapa na iende mahali. Kabochi?
DJing in academia. So the scope of my research was only piped to the Kenyan academia scene, but production and DJing has been an intertwined discussion, especially in Western schools. It's just that it's become more vocal because in Kenya we have now an increase of former producers who want to become DJs and DJs who want to become producers, and there's different elements that promote all of this. And what a time now we're talking about DJing in academia, because we now have production, and production and DJing is really intertwined. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. There was also the other issue of, I'm answering to the question of mashups, whether DJs do it knowingly or unknowingly, or promote it knowingly or unknowingly. So mashups has been a thing from Kitambo. It's just that now the introduction of technology has really given these mashups, blends, traction, because we find guys creating these mashups and you find people dancing to these mashups, pushing these mashups and pushing this new concept of blending tracks and vocals together. So do they do it knowing or unknowingly? I don't know. For guys who are getting into the space, it's argumentative, really. So does the listener really care? Do you care? Do you care what I use? Because for the longest time there was a discussion between whether DJ should use virtual DJ or Serato or all this stuff. But I think from the consumer's perspective, I just want to have a good time. And I really don't care what you use as long as the music is flowing and the vibe is vibing. Yeah, so does the listener really care? Tafakari ya babu.
Don't care about what the DJ is doing, because at the end of the day, the work of the DJ is to entertain. So whatever tools you use to entertain, so long as you can, if you can do that on Spotify and you've been able to crossfade nicely to the next song and to the next song, you will still entertain. Do we call you a DJ? Maybe we'll have questions, but so long as you're able to entertain, that is important. And then number two, with regards to the mashups, the DJ is able to bring back the old and bring it in the new. For example, I don't know if you've seen cases where people are doing mashups from songs in the 70s and trying to bring life in today. The DJ has been caught up in the promotion of culture. You might say he's in it because already the train is moving. I think they contribute a huge part towards mashups easily. You have, for example, Mixed in Key. It's a software where you are able to, it's able to tell you this song, you can mash it up with this song because the energy levels, and it's able to almost predict, again, using AI, to know if, using Camelot key, if this song has the same key with the song that you want to mash up, and maybe you want to pull a bass line from this other song and put it together. Those are things that you can do with Mixed in Key. So I think if I was to just put in two cents, the DJ is in the train and might not look like the driver, but is a huge contributor. I open that to even markets like South Africa, where the DJ is a producer, and then the DJ also works with promoters, and the DJ is also an artist. So in some contexts, maybe in Kenya, you would say the DJ found himself in between. But in some countries, the DJ is the one pushing, because already they were doing music technology. They were already producing music. So they almost, you would say, they almost push the culture. You would almost say, you would put them in that category. Maybe we'll debate on how exactly, to what extent. Maybe that's a paper Kabochi can take us up on that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It's not just for back there in the clubs. Now we're having DJs standing here. They're going to publish those papers just like any other field. And I want to encourage you, students, whatever you do, just add a little bit of the academics, and that makes the whole difference. Especially for the performing artists, that makes the whole difference. So thank you so much. I want to hand over the program back to my boss, Karibu.
Barbara, kindly to close the session with a word of prayer. Tomorrow we are starting early at 8:15. We will present papers in the different halls, and then we'll come back here at around 9:30 for entertainment, and then for the guest speakers' presentations. Thank you so much.
Today. Hope to see you tomorrow. Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you have given unto us, dear Lord. Thank you for a successful day one of the Department of Music and Performing Arts Conference. And Lord, please be with us, guide us, and protect us as we prepare for tomorrow, dear Father. For those of us going home, please be with us and cover us with the blood of Jesus Christ. In Jesus Christ's name, I do pray, trust, and believe. Amen.
Thank you.